Good morning. Just came out of the gym, and the thought is in my mind with New Year's fast approaching, people are starting to prepare mentally for their New Year's resolution because starting to prepare now to meet your New Year's goal is a great way to procrastinate until New Year's. So I think if you really want to be successful on some sort of health goal for New Year's, what I'd like you to see do right now, today, is implement something called habit stacking. So right now you have this routine that how you live your day, the order of events that happen in your life, some of it you're in control of. The parts you're in control of is called your routine. So how strong your routine is sort of the base for your day, and then when unexpected things occur, how quickly you can get back to your routine often dictates what kind of day you're going to have. Now, January 1st, a lot of people are just planning to just throw their entire routine out the window and just start a whole new routine, and they'll get 1 or 2 days off from work where it'll be easy. But then the demands of life kick in quite quickly. What I'm going to suggest instead is that you start now and you just start chipping away at what is possibly an unhealthy routine now and forming better habits by leveraging the fact that you already have an established routine. So this practice is called habit stacking, where you take something you're already organically, naturally doing, and you tack on a new behavior you want to start implementing. So let me give you an example. Every night you cook dinner or eat dinner. You're already doing that. If you make an agreement with yourself, okay, every night after I eat dinner, I'm just going to go do a 5-minute walk. That's your new habit that you're stacking that onto an already existing behavior. The already existing portion of your routine, eating dinner, becomes the trigger for you to go do that next thing. So now when you sit down for dinner, you've mentally prepared. Dinner's now a 2-step thing: eating and then a 5-minute walk. And the agreement you need to make with yourself in this example is just a 5-minute walk. Because once you're out walking for 5 minutes, you put on your coat, you put on your boots, you stepped out the door. Organically and naturally, you might end up doing 10 or 15 minutes. But in your mind, if you have this agreement with yourself, every night after dinner I'm going to go walk for an hour, that's a lot less likely to happen, right? Like, let's just admit that. I don't think I need to go into a big explanation why. Anyone who lives their life as an adult and understands why just a big, suddenly an hour after dinner's gone, why that might be difficult. But can you do 5 minutes? So it's a total of 10 minutes. You're taking off your putting on your boots, putting on your coat, maybe grabbing the dog, rounding up a kid to go with you, seeing if your wife wants to come, going even if she doesn't want to come, coming home, putting on your boots, probably just go a small block around your house. That's 5 minutes. Total time, 10 minutes. That's an example of a simple agreement. So you've taken an already existing behavior and you've just tacked on that little healthy habit. I mean, there are so many benefits for a 10-minute walk after dinner. I can't even get into it. But you're just going to promise yourself 5. You'll probably end up going 10 naturally. And it's just a simple thing. You have barely altered your routine at all, yet you've introduced a healthy habit. And after 21 days, maybe a month, that habit just becomes baked in. So around a 2 to 3 week mark for me, when I practice this, I start realizing I can bake other habits in, that I've got my new routine on lock, and I can just push it a little farther. So another habit, another way to do this to almost guarantee success with that first habit is to pick a habit that's less than 2 minutes long and quite easy to do, but you should be doing and you don't do it. So maybe it's when you lay down in bed at night, you're going to just spend 2 minutes meditating. You're already laying down, you're already in your comfortable clothes. You're going to just spend 2 minutes meditating. If you watch your phone at night, that's not a healthy habit. But you're not telling yourself you can't do that anymore. You're just going to say, before I go to sleep, I'm going to just put my phone aside and I'm just going to do 2 minutes of relaxed meditation and deep breathing. That's a pretty easy habit to adopt. It's not difficult at all for anybody. And suddenly you might start sleeping better and falling to sleep sooner, which gives you a positive experience and more energy the next day. And then you have more energy to add on the next habit into your stack. So I don't want anyone just going to New Year's and flipping a switch. And I think a lot of people thought that's what happened to me when I started losing weight, but that's not what happened to me. I looked back at all the years that I've tried and failed to lose weight, and the previous times where I've lost a lot of weight only to regain it, and I've really looked into myself. And it was always a result of this all or nothing thinking. Now I'm looking just for small changes. And this is true in the business world too. I read a book called From Good to Great that looked at something like 50 different companies that were just doing okay. I mean, they were paying the bills and contributing to the economy, and they were just doing okay, that rocketed to become the world leader in their business. And everything they did had one thing in common. They didn't look for huge dramatic changes. That came out on its own. They looked to change the culture in just little positive ways. And those little, small, easy to make changes quite often result in huge responses from the system you introduce it in. There's a great example from the stories of Kaizen, or the development of Kaizen way of manufacturing and thinking, where Toyota was unhappy with their product quality. So they decided that, we have all these assembly workers on the line. What if we just gave any one of them the right to just stop the assembly line cold if they saw a defect in the manufacturing? So if the guy who puts the steering wheel on, this poor guy all day long climbs in the car and puts in the steering wheel, if he notices that there's a tear in the vinyl, he has a lever to yank down, and that stops the whole assembly line. And when that happens, an engineer has to come over and look, and they'll take the car off the line, start the line back up. The engineer will inspect the car and try to root cause why that quality defect sipped in. So the cultural change that they made was just to give everybody a lever. And then when someone finds a defect, a small reward is given to them in addition to being able to pull the lever. So suddenly with the addition of that one thing, you've suddenly taken your whole workforce and turned them into quality inspectors. And for something like 20 years after that, Toyota quality as an automobile got so high that they were the only brand of car Consumer Reports would review without driving. They would just review it without driving because they knew the quality was there. So, sorry, I lost my light. So that's something, the small changes. Look for the little things, the changes that don't take a lot of effort. With New Year's coming up, you could really get your groundwork. So think about maybe 2 minutes of sleep before bed, or a 5-minute walk after dinner. And again, you only need to make it 5 minutes, because once you're out there walking, you might naturally just do 20 minutes. And if you don't, well, at least you've done your 5 minutes, right? Which you'll still feel better after that 5-minute walk. If one of your New Year's goals is to lose weight, a simple habit that you can stack into your morning routine is, before I have my morning coffee, when I get up out of bed, the first thing I do when I get out of bed is I go on the bathroom scale and weigh myself. I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm just going to look at the number, recognize the number, and just move on with my day. It needs to be a guilt-free experience. Now, it takes like 5 seconds to weigh yourself. But in quality management, which I have a background in, You get what you repeatedly measure. And so if your goal is to start losing weight in the new year, you need to build the habit of weighing yourself every morning, every single morning. And that's the equivalent of the guy at Toyota pulling the lever, okay? And think of it this way. This is why this one particular habit is so effective for weight loss, the weighing every morning. If your body's a Toyota moving down the assembly line, let's say it takes a week to get there. So Monday, you're eating certain foods, and then Tuesday morning you're weighing yourself, and your weight's about the same, and then Wednesday you're eating certain crappy foods again, and then next morning you weigh yourself. Now you notice your weight start creep up just a little bit. Oh, you know what? I didn't sleep good. Maybe I'm retaining a bit of water. Haven't gone to the bathroom yet, whatever it is. Thursday, oh, my weight's crept up a bit again. You don't need anyone at that point saying, hey, your diet sucks. This is why your scale is creeping up. But you won't even have that thought exercise. You won't even think about it if you didn't weigh yourself every single day. So weighing yourself and seeing now that the scale is starting to creep up gives you the opportunity to mentally pull that lever and put the brakes on the behavior that you're building for the week so far. So then at least when you sit for lunch and you've got your chicken breast and salad, or you can just go for the Big Mac, it's at least giving you the presence of mind to recognize, hey, no matter what I pick right now, I know I'm going to stand on that scale in the morning and I'm going to have a moment of honesty with myself. So not only have you created a habit where you're measuring your results in an empirical way, you've created another thing I love, which is an accountability loop. So you've taken, with this small, simple intervention, you've taken the fact that you've built in to where you've become a mindful eater as a spin-off effect of just simply weighing yourself every morning. It instantly turns you into a mindful eater. After, let's say, 2 weeks of just weighing yourself every morning, you suddenly eat in a more mindful, purposeful way. And you never, ever just made the decision to change your diet at all. This is an organic change from within. So this is the power of little, tiny, good habits. And in the book where I read about the story of Toyota, they talk about a flywheel effect. You have this wheel, a heavy wheel, okay? And a flywheel is designed to store energy and to keep momentum going. So a flywheel, they use them in treadmills, for example. When treadmill starts up, it starts up really slow, but then it picks up speed and it gets to a speed. And it's much easier and less hydro or electricity for it to stay at that speed because there's a big 10-pound flywheel down in the bottom and the flywheel's spinning. So that just keeps the momentum going. And when you step on the treadmill, it keeps the motion nice and smooth for you. The belt doesn't jerk underneath you. So you're going to do that too. You're going to take your flywheel and every little thing. You step on the scale. You've given that flywheel a nudge. You go out for your evening walk 5 minutes after dinner. Just that simple 5 minutes. It's another little nudge on that flywheel. Now I'm going to put my head on the pillow and just rest for 2 minutes. It's another little nudge on that flywheel. Now that flywheel, with those 2 or 3 simple habits that you stacked into your already existing routine painlessly, those become a momentum, and that momentum is of your flywheel. Your flywheel's going. So now it's a little bit harder to derail those habits because they start to feed each other. While I've gotten to sleep quicker, I've rested a little better, I got up and weighed myself, and now I'm more mindful about what I eat, and after I eat, I do a little walk. Don't you sound like a healthier person already when that's your day? And total time to take this switch, this mental switch that will happen organically by slicing in simple habits. You've added 10 minutes to your day which I promise you, you will make up with productivity. I promise you. If you're walking around in an energy deficit where you're tired, you're unmotivated, you're feeding your mind, you're feeding your body with junk food, and you're feeding your mind with the mental equivalent, maybe reality shows, maybe it's political shows, maybe it's just stupid shit on the internet. It takes you out of that. It starts moving you towards the path of, well, really a personal freedom, because a lot of you probably feel, as I did, that your body's a cage that you're trapped in, and you would gladly trade it for some other body. And it's a terrible way to feel. But it's not the big dramatic moments that take someone and turn them into a transformed individual. It's the little things they do that start to add up. So I think for this new year, forget the resolution. Just sit down and look at yourself and say, okay, what's my routine like? How could I just tweak it so that tomorrow's routine is slightly better than today's? Just slightly better. You do that every week for 52 weeks next year, I'm going to see a whole nother you. You're going to be on YouTube telling the world about it like I am, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I hope to see it. I really want to see it. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, drop a like and follow me, because I'll be pushing this point home all through 2023. Otherwise, I wish you all a wonderful day. And I think I saw Sed watching. Big Sed, morning, bro. Okay, take care, folks.